Welcome to this section on Personal Protective Equipment, or PPE. What is PPE? It is the equipment that protects you from health or safety risks at work. What we are going to cover in this section: when PPE is necessary, what PPE is necessary, how to properly put on, take off, adjust and wear the PPE, the limitations of the PPE, proper care, maintenance, useful life, and disposal of PPE. PPE must be properly selected and worn to be effective. Hazards exist in every workplace in many different forms. These are some examples of some of the main hazard areas we should pay attention to and protect ourselves from in our work areas. The first one, impact, from falling or flying objects. Penetration can be sharp objects piercing your foot or hand. Compression, from rollover or pinching objects. Chemical exposure, which can be inhalation, ingestion, skin contact, eye contact, etc. Temperature extremes, so extreme hot or cold. Dust or flying debris, this can come from grinding, chipping, sanding, etc. Radiation can come from welding, brazing, UV or IR lights. Biologic, which is a big one right now with the coronavirus stuff going on. This can come from bacteria, viruses, insects, plants or birds. Noise hazards. These can be mechanical rooms, jackhammers, loud trucks, or anything with a high decibel rating. Electrical hazards can come from electrical shock, arcing, or short circuiting. Fall hazards, which can be a big one with slipping, tripping, working on scaffolds, or anything with elevated work. Employer requirements for PPE. We will provide PPE at no cost to the employee. We require that all employees wear all applicable PPE when necessary and report it to your supervisor when PPE needs to be replaced due to reasonable wear and tear. We train all employees on how to use PPE, when to use it, and where to use it. Employee requirements for PPE. Employees must wear PPE when deemed necessary. Assess the hazards of your job site and wear the proper PPE. Inspect your PPE before use and replace it as needed. When in doubt, it's better to be safe than sorry. Wear it. Eye and face protection. When should eye protection be worn? Whenever you're exposed to eye or face hazards including flying particles, molten metal, liquid chemicals, acid or caustic liquids, chemical gases or vapors, etc. What type of eye and face protection is offered by the parks? We offer clear and tinted safety glasses. We offer safety glasses that fit over your prescription glasses. And we also offer face shields. One thing to note, full face protection shields do not protect from impact hazards. Wear safety glasses or goggles underneath them. Some of the places where eye and face protection is used in Genesee County parks. When using power tools, power equipment such as mowers, trimmers, and blowers, when using chemical cleaners, when working over your head, both the restoration and locomotive shops, the carpenter's shop, and anywhere there is a risk to your eyes. Head protection. When should we use head protection? We should use it when objects might fall from above and strike you on the head, when you might bump your head against fixed objects such as exposed pipes or beams, when there is a possibility of accidental head contact with electrical hazards. Where do we use head protection in Genesee County parks? We use it on job sites where any impact to the head could happen. And head protection is also required in the locomotive shop. In the picture here is an example of the hard hats we use here at the parks. The do's and don'ts of head protection. Do not alter the hard hat. Altering the hard hat can make it become ineffective and dangerous to wear. Wear your hat forward. Never wear the hard hat backwards. Inspect before use and after exposure to impact, heat, chemicals, and ultraviolet lights. Do not store the hard hat in sunlight or extreme temperatures. Vented hats should not be used around electricity, and proper fit is also important. Foot protection. We require you to wear steel-toe or safety-toed boots or shoes. The employee shall provide the foot protection. New hire employees will receive a $50 reimbursement after your first 40 hours of work. When purchasing these boots, we want you to make sure that they are ANSI or ASTM certified steel-toe or safety-toed boots or shoes. Hand protection. When should hand protection be used? Whenever you are exposed to these common hand hazards, including using cleaning products, cleaning of toilets, the cleaning of chemical spills and bodily fluid spills, using power tools and heavy equipment. One thing to note is that if you are using chemicals, know what kinds of chemicals you're using, how to handle them, the risks associated with them also. Please see your SDS sheets to find these. In the 3 pictures you see here are some of the common gloves that we use here in the parks. On the far left is our leather gloves. In the middle is a nitrile or latex glove. And on the far right is our winter work gloves. When choosing your gloves, make sure you get the right size. We want it to fit your hand. We don't want it to be extremely loose or too tight to where you can't fit your hand in it. And also when selecting gloves, make sure you know the area requiring protection. If you just need your hand to be protected or if it needs to protect your forearm or also your arm, please use the appropriate gloves. Hearing protection. Decibels are a unit that is used to measure the intensity of a sound or the power level of an electrical signal. In general, it's basically just the degree of loudness. Some ideas of decibel ratings on common noises. A lawnmower has a rating of 95 decibels. A passing truck has a rating of 100 decibels. A jet engine has a rating of 150 decibels. The CDC states that any noise levels above 70 decibels over a prolonged period of time may start to damage your hearing. Loud noises above 120 decibels can cause immediate harm to your ears. When should hearing protection be used? It shall be provided and used when engineering and/or administrative controls are not feasible. Types of hearing protection that we offer include foam earplugs, which we stock for normal use. These are meant to be a one-time use item. These have a decibel protection rating of 20 to 30 decibels. We also stock ear muffs, and they are more comfortable for employees who perform jobs such as mowing all day. Ear muffs are a long life item. They can be reused over and over. Ear muffs have a decibel rating of 15 to 30 decibels for protection. Double hearing protectors using plugs and muffs can offer a decibel rating of 30 to 40 for protection. These should be used on anything with decibel ratings over 115. One thing to note, earbuds and headphones are not hearing protection and should not be worn during work. Respiratory protection. When should you use respiratory protection? Respiratory protection is required when excessive exposure to air contaminants cannot be controlled by engineering and/or administrative controls. What type of respiratory protection should be used? The common types of respirators used in the workplace are the common dust mask, the N95 respirator, and the industrial cartridge style respirator. When using any of these three, make sure you have a proper fit around your face and make sure you are shown the proper way to use it. Safety vests. Anytime you are in a right-of-way or exposed to traffic, a safety vest should be worn. Also, when you're around equipment or hazards where visibility is important, safety vests should be worn also. Vests should fit properly and not be baggy. Loose safety vests can get snagged on objects and create potential safety hazards. We also offer red safety vests. These are only to be used when you're working on the beachfront. Think before you do any digging. Before you dig, install posts, signs, etc., verify with your supervisor that the area is free of utilities. 3 foot on each side of the line marked by misdig requires you to hand dig. Some of the colors that misdig will mark with paint or stakes and what they mean. Red is marking electrical. Yellow is marking gas. Orange marks communications. Blue marks water. And green marks the sewer. Heavy lifting. It is always a good idea to use the proper methods when lifting heavy objects. Always lift with your legs. You should use the correct positioning. Bend the knees, tighten your stomach muscles, use both hands, grasp the object firmly, pull it as close to your body, and use your leg muscles to lift. When it's time to set the load down, use the same process in reversed. Anything over 50 pounds, use mechanical aids or use the buddy system for lifting. One final important rule: think before you lift. Use common sense. Not using the proper method of lifting can cause serious damage to your back. Remember, in lifting, you are the major cause of your injuries. Therefore, you have the major responsibility for preventing them. Chainsaw use in PPE. First things, nobody should use a chainsaw without going through the proper training class. Once they've completed this class and are allowed to use a chainsaw, they should wear this list of chainsaw PPE. You should wear a hard hat, a face shield, chaps, leather gloves, ear protection, and steel-toe boots. Ladder safety. Assess the job for what type of ladder, lift, or scaffolding is needed. Types of ladders: step ladder, extension ladder, and a combination ladder. Falls from ladders are one of the top causes of injury and fatalities in the workplace. Always make sure you place your ladder on a flat, level surface. You don't want to end up like this guy in the picture. Some do's and don'ts of ladder safety. Only use ladders and appropriate accessories, ladder levelers, jacks, or hooks, for their designed purposes. Ladders must be free of any slippery material on the rungs, steps, or feet. Do not use a self-supporting ladder as a single ladder or in a partially closed position. Do not use the top step or rung of a ladder as a step unless it was designed for that purpose. Use a ladder only on a stable and level surface, unless it has been secured to prevent displacement. Do not place a ladder on boxes, barrels, or other unstable bases to obtain additional height. Do not move or shift a ladder while a person or equipment is on the ladder. A ladder placed in any location where it can be displaced by other work activities must be secured to prevent displacement, or a barricade must be erected to keep traffic away from the ladder. Be sure that all locks on extension ladders are properly engaged. Do not exceed the maximum load rating of a ladder. Be aware of a ladder's load rating and the weight of its supporting, including the weight of any tools or equipment. These ratings can be found on the stickers on the sides of the ladders. Things to remember with ladder safety. Always inspect the ladder prior to using it. Look for broken or missing rungs, bolts, cleats, screws, or loose components. If the ladder is damaged, it must be removed from service and tagged. If you find one that is damaged, please contact your supervisor and report it. Always maintain a 3-point, 2 hands and a foot or 2 feet and a hand, contact to the ladder when climbing. Keep your body near the middle of the step and always face the ladder while climbing. Use the right type of ladder for the job. Don't reach. Read and follow all labels and markings on the ladder. Avoid electrical hazards. Look for overhead power lines before handling a ladder. Avoid using a metal ladder near power lines or exposed energized electrical equipment. You must be 10 feet from power lines. Only use ladders with non-conductive side rails while using around any electrical hazard. Extension ladder safety. Extension ladders should extend 3 feet above the landing area, and the distance between the bottom of the ladder and the structure it is resting against should be 1/4 the length of the ladder. Here is a list of some major causes of accidents on ladders. Not tied off or secured, slippery surfaces, leaning out too far, worker failed to hold onto the ladder, defective or damaged ladder, electrical contact, or you have a ladder on unstable surfaces. Remember, a chair is not a ladder. Please do not use chairs as a ladder. Lockout tagout. Lockout tagout is a safety procedure used in industry and research settings to ensure that dangerous machines and energy are properly shut off and not able to be started up again prior to the completion of maintenance or repair work. Throughout the parks, you might come across breaker panels like the one in the slide here, and it will have a lock and a tag like pictured. If you see these, do not mess with them, do not remove them. It shows that somebody is working on the circuit and they're doing this to prevent being electrocuted. So please do not turn these on. Fire extinguishers. Know where they are located and know what type of extinguisher to use for your situation. As seen on a slide here is a common fire extinguisher. Please know the different parts in case you have to use one. Here is the common types of fire extinguishers. We have A, B, C, D, and K. A is generally used for ordinary combustibles. B is used for flammable liquids. C is used for live electrical equipment. D is used on combustible metal. And K is used in commercial cooking equipment. How to use a fire extinguisher properly. Remember the word pass. Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So you're going to pull the pin out, aim the nozzle towards the fire, squeeze the handles, and sweep across the base of the fire until there is no flame that you can see. Some general safety guidelines to follow in the workplace. Inspect your work area daily. Be an observer. Stay alert. Use your best safety device. Think. If you're not sure, ask someone. Report injuries, incidents, and illnesses. This concludes the section on PPE, ladder safety, and fire extinguishers. Remember to be safe and use your PPE.